What is up, you guys? It is your boy John here from Puma Plow. Welcome back to another On the Farm, I should say. I'm John, the voiceover guy, of course. I could not use the actual audio from this video because Dad and I we had a little colorful language, just a little bit of colorful language. And I was like, I'll cut it out. Plus, was not explaining what we are doing. So that's why you guys get voiceover mode in this video. So what we are doing, we have decided after our pumpkin party, and we're in the back of the big shed. During the pumpkin party, we had three round tables set up back here with chairs so people could eat because it was cold and miserable outside. So we could not have people sit outside and eat. So we brought in tables back here. Because this area is all cleaned up right now because of having those tables back here so people could eat during the party, we have decided to go ahead and upgrade the lighting in this part of the big shed to our LED work lights. We get them at Sam's Club. They're about $35 a piece, I believe. I'm not sponsored, but they're great lights, and I believe in them. Honestly, I like them quite a bit. We have done the other side of the shed in the past, which we did make a video of that in the past. But it was time to go ahead and upgrade the back of the shed. The biggest advantage, there's two advantages, obviously. The first one is they are more energy efficient. There's a couple advantages. There's more than two. Energy efficient, very consistent, even lighting with these old, I call them warehouse lights. You'll see them here in a minute. They're very uneven light. You get like this weird ring of light. I think half the problem is we don't have them up high enough because our shed is not tall enough. So with the LED shop light, basically, it's an equivalent to like a fluorescent 4-foot light. It is very nice, even lighting, and instant light. These old warehouse lights that we have up here, they have to warm up. So it's like a street light, where it has to warm up. And therefore, if you need to go in the shed, say you run down there at night, you need to grab something out of the back of the shed, you got to stand there and wait. Otherwise, it's like really dark back there and you can't see anything, or take a flashlight with you. So it's a little bit better to have the Insta Light, as we call it. You flip the switch, wait about half a second, boom, Insta Light. It's good to go. So what we are doing here is we are setting up scaffolding. The scaffolding is on wheels because we need to move it back and forth across the shed, because we did not bring down enough scaffolding, because there's no reason to set up enough scaffolding to do like all of the shed at one time. So if you just set up enough scaffolding to work on and you have the wheels and you can move it back and forth, yeah, it's not the best thing, not the easiest thing to move around in the dirt down there, but hey, it's not too bad. So the scaffolding comes from where Dad works, a rental yard type place, and they rent the scaffolding. But because he works there, we might just get it for free. And it was a Sunday, they were closed anyway, so it's not like they could rent it out or anything like that. I think it was a Sunday. Yeah, it was a Sunday we did this. So yeah, I just thought it was cool to kind of leave in basically one big clip here at the beginning of the video of us setting up the scaffolding. It's not that bad of a process necessarily if you need to go vertical with scaffolding, because obviously with scaffolding you can stack it and you can go, I don't know how high you're supposed to go, but you can go pretty high with it. We're only setting up one high, so it's really not that bad. Not that bad at all. Like I said, we're putting the wheels on because it just makes life a lot easier. You can tell we're wearing coats and gloves. It was a little chilly this particular day. It got cold. It got very cold. And actually, in the next On the Farm, which was filmed the Wednesday after this one, it was real cold that day. But anyway, so yeah, at least we were in the shed this day and didn't have to work outside where there was a little bit of rain at times this day, and the wind was pretty brutal. And, it was a nice shed day. It's like, okay, let's just stay inside and get this project done and go home, basically. So that is exactly what we did. But yeah, it's not that big of a job to set the scaffolding up. It is kind of annoying. Scaffolding has kind of gone away in certain applications, and the big one is where Dad works. They rent the scaffolding. Their rentals have slowed dramatically because they have a man lift, and people are much more likely to rent the man lift because, depending on what you're doing, it's so much easier to get in the basket of a man lift and push 2 buttons and up you go, instead of having to take all the time to set this up. And you can see we're putting the walkboards on the very top because I need all the height I can get. I'm 6 foot tall, but it was a little short up there, and we'll get to that here in a minute. You guys are going to yell at me because it was not safe what I was doing, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to get her done. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to get it done. So we have 3 walkboards per section so that it's a completely, basically the whole deck is covered in walkboards, and we're good to go as far as that is concerned. Because I don't know, I like working on the scaffolding as long as there's 3 walkboards. I mean, I don't particularly care for being on the scaffolding, but I also don't mind it. After a few minutes, you kind of get used to the way everything kind of shimmies and shakes, and you get used to it. Same thing with the lift, honestly, the man lift. You get used to it after a couple of minutes, and you're good to go. It's no different than working on a ladder. Kind of the same thing, honestly. You'd get used to it, and you're good to go. So, not a big deal. But as you can see, we're like, not even 7 minutes in, and we almost have this scaffolding set up. Like I said, this is not a big setup, per se, of scaffolding at all. Honestly, I mean, it's just the 3 uprights and some wheels and some walkboards and stuff. Not really a big deal. You do want to make sure your walkboards are put in correctly, of course. And you want to make sure they're not projectile missiles at you like that one kind of was there at Dad. More hands are always a good thing, so I grab it here. Yep, definitely help him out with it. I kept trying to go in. I was going to go inside the scaffolding, and then he could hand me the walkboard, but it worked to do what we did from the outside. And right here, we're trying to get it squared up just enough to make it all work. You got to get it just right on the square factor. There are little safety latches underneath if what it's really for is if somebody's going to be working underneath you, so they couldn't accidentally knock your walkboard out of place. Nobody was going to be working underneath of us, so we did not use the safety latches. It's all right. It's all good. Don't worry about it. As Dad kept saying, because you'll see here in a second, I was the one that was going up on top of the scaffolding. He's like, well, you're only going to go one way, and that way's down. And it's not the fall that gets you. It's the stop at the end of the fall that gets you. When you hit the ground, that's what gets you. So we've learned a lesson over the years. I don't like climbing the straight up ladder on the end of the scaffolding and trying to get on top. It's so much easier just to go grab a ladder and put it up against there. The scaffolding is actually pushed up against the end wall of the building at this point, so it's not going to roll. Plus, Dad was holding it, so we're all good there. And all that good stuff. You can see in a couple of these shots here, the old lights that are up there, the big warehouse-style lights. I did take, you probably saw it laying on the ground there, or laying on the walkboard. I did take our, what's it called? It's actually a step that we keep in front of our drill press, because the drill press sits up kind of high on that bench, and it's a little easier to use sometimes if you use the step. I did take that up with me. It was actually not enough step. I'm, like I said, about 6 foot tall. This needed to be up about another 8 inches at times. Depending on what I was doing, I could use a little more height, basically. But the big thing for me, honestly, is I cannot stand working with my arms above my head. It hurts my shoulders, so hence the step, honestly. And we're trying to put this light here just to kind of give me a little more light up here to help out the video, basically, is what we were doing here. But there's the old light right there hanging from this rebar that's hanging from some bolts, leg bolts via chain. It's a 2-piece light and transformer setup. These used to be wired 220. When we changed the lights in the other side of the shed, we had to redo this, what's it called? The breaker here, because obviously those LED lights are only 110. So we went ahead and changed these over to 110 as well. You guys might remember me putting these up here a while ago. They're hardwired in. You know, the light and the transformer, there's a twist lock plug there, but the actual transformer is wired directly in. So there's that step, by the way. And yeah, it's probably not the safest thing to be up on a step on top of scaffolding, but, you know, it's okay. Sometimes you do dumb things on the farm to get the job done, and that was one of those cases where I might have not been doing the smartest thing to get the job done, but sometimes you just have to do it. So we're going to open this box up with our DeWalt drill. Swear it's not a product placement. Although I would take a DeWalt sponsorship in a heartbeat. I love their products, just saying. All about DeWalt products. Going to go ahead and take the 3 wire nuts off. Obviously, you have your hot, your common, and your ground. Going to go ahead and take those off. Pull that old wire out and get that transformer down, out of the way. And there goes the wire. Here goes the transformer. And like I said, these lights are fine and dandy. We're actually going to be selling these lights probably on Craigslist some point in the future. Dad actually has a bunch more up at where he works that he is going to sell as well, because we just don't have a use for them anymore. With the LED lights from Sam's that we purchase, it's just, we might as well, honestly. So it's all about the Insta-Light for me, personally. But hey. Another DeWalt impact driver this time. This is our 20-volt impact driver. I believe it's the 20-volt impact driver. I'm going to go ahead and take the rebar down just to get it out of the way. One less thing in my way up there at the time. I'm going to go ahead and hand it down to Dad. You can see how high I am, obviously. I'm maxed out on that scaffolding plus the wheels. Now, since the lights were hardwired before, obviously there was no outlet up here. So what we're going to be doing is putting in a regular old outlet up here. So we kind of repurposed the box basically that was already there. No point in changing out the box to a single gain box, but you know, it's all good. So wire up an outlet real fast. The electricity is turned off to this circuit, obviously. I don't mess with electricity if it's on. I'm not a fan of that. It has been done in the past at our farm, but I will say that I don't do it. Turn it off, make sure it's off, be safe about it, and all will be good at the end of the day, right? Just saying. So I was going to go ahead and tighten them down with the impact gun as well, plus the extra screw that we're not using. I went ahead and ran that in as well. And now here's the part that's really not safe. I just had a hard time reaching some of the stuff. And actually what I didn't show you was putting the cover on the box on the other side. The footage was real bad because my head was right up against the rafter and you couldn't see anything. So it was pretty brutal. Basically what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to mark the rafter out for where we're going to put the screw for the new light. And then we're going to put the screw in for the new light. Just saying. And we're just simply running screws right into the rafters and hanging the chains for the new lights right off of those. Oh, look, it's our DeWalt. Everything is DeWalt on the farm in case you can't tell. We love our DeWalt power tools. We are all about them. We have a bunch of them. So what we're doing is we're squaring up off of that stringer and then going down 3 inches roughly and then up an inch from there. And that gave us our point where we wanted to put the light. So it was even 3 and then 1. And good to go then. Run the screw in there with a little bit of angle with our DeWalt. It's not sponsored, I swear. With our DeWalt impact gun. And then get to hang the light right up on there. We put 5 lights back here. Just like we put 5 lights on the other side of the shed. They're all on the same rafters and everything, and so everything's evened up and it looks good front to back of the shed. There you can see the cover and the outlet in the box up there. And hey, Dad went and turned it on, so we have power. Don't worry, I tied that cord up later. Trust me, I tied it up a little bit better than just that. That's actually why I unplugged it, was to tie the cord up better. But yes, I digress. Let's move on. Maybe? Let's go. All right, so marking off a couple more here. Like I said, even with the stringer, down the rafter 3 inches, up an inch, scratch and mark in as hard as possible with that pencil so I could see it. It was a bit of a lighting nightmare up here trying to get like good video for you guys and being able to see my pencil marks and all that stuff. It was definitely a concern that I had while doing this. And the biggest thing is that speed square, there's no like color to it. It's just gray. The whole thing's gray. If they put a little like red line at the inch marks, that'd be perfect. I told Dad, I was like, we need to go get some fingernail polish and paint the thing up, just on the inch marks. Put, and then you can just count off inches and it would be perfect. Just saying. We actually tried here, guys, and I had to do this on a lot of these. The chain is so small that comes with these lights. I actually had to take the needle nose in there and kind of open up one link just a little bit. It didn't like to slide over the head of the screw that we were using, so we definitely had to open it up just a little bit. And then actually the second half of the lights or so, what I would do is just put the screw through the chain and then drive the screw into the board, because it just worked. But after we did 3 lights, we took a lunch break, and then I didn't film the other 2 lights that we put up. Because once you see 1 or 2 of these, you kind of get the gist of it, and they're all kind of, it's just lather, rinse, and repeat, and all good there. I did have to change another outlet out on the other end, or change to an outlet from the hard wire on the other end of the shed. These lights in the middle are all daisy chainable, so you can plug one in and then plug into it. It comes with the wire to make it happen. So just keep plugging in light to light to light, which is actually really, really cool. On the other side of the shed, we have like 3 outlets that we had to put up there, or 4 outlets or something. But because these lights are daisy chainable, you just plug them in and you're good to go, which is really cool. Just saying, it's actually really, really cool. So this is light number 2. I did light number 3, and then we took a lunch break. Obviously, I didn't film that. Had to go hit up the local Dairy Queen, how we do. And then we came back, and I believe this is after I did light number 3. So you can see the first 3 lights, and then the old light. And you can tell it's kind of dingy over there, kind of dark. It's a lot brighter over on the right side of the shed at this point in time because of those new LEDs. I believe they're 43 or 4,500 lumens a piece. So here we are at the end of the day, guys. We've put some of the stuff back in the shed, like the John Deere, the Power King, and that cart. And you can see all 5 of the LED work lights or shop lights are up there. 4-foot spacing in between, and they're 4-foot lights as well. And it's nice and bright back here. It's awesome. It's fantastic. And like I said before, the best part is the Insta-Light. You flip the switch, boom, you have light. It's amazing. It's great. I'm all about it. So if you guys like this lighting video, please hit that like button for more. Subscribe with notifications on if you have not already done so. Thank you guys so much for watching another On the Farm. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, toodles.